All right, wrestling fans. Welcome aboard. AEW Dynamite. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. And what a special AEW Dynamite did we have tonight on a lot of levels that I'm going to get into here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and change up the music some now that we have this wrapping up here. People. That's not what we're doing. So sorry, it is not. This is what we're doing. We are going to go ahead and... My goodness, man. There's a lot to cover here with what happened tonight. And I don't know whether to start with the big thing or not, but regardless, let's set the background. Welcome, everybody, to your 5th episode of Just My Take with your one and only host with the most, the man of the hour, the man with the power too sweet to be sour, O to the J. And yeah, Dynamite was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But what Dynamite is it? Let me ask that. Regardless. Man, do I want to start with the big stuff or no? I'll save it for the very end. No, I don't know. We'll see. So, man. Yeah, no, let's get into it. We have a new TNT champion. Sammy Guevara beat the Redeemer, God's favorite champion, Miro, ending his undefeated streak and his TNT championship reign. Man, I had a feeling Sammy would win. I really, honest to God, did. And I think it makes sense because the Inner Circle needs to build up who would be their newest star. Chris Jericho's days on top are... Man, that window is closing rapidly each day, in my opinion. And who's next up? Jake Hager? No. Would it be either... Yeah, well, shit, let's just say it like this. Would it be really anybody else in the Inner Circle other than Sammy Guevara? I don't think so. No disrespect to Santana and Ortiz, but I don't see them being a single star anytime soon. I mean, I'm still on board for them to go up against the Luchas here sooner rather than later. But we'll get to that in a minute. So, tonight's AEW Dynamite. We'll start at the top here. Comes out of Rochester, New York. The home of one Brody Lee. Rest in peace, sir. And this was a show that was rescheduled who knows how many times, but this was the location that Brody was supposed to debut in when he debuted. The pandemic and life had other plans. But to start the show, we got the same graphic that we got when we heard of his passing, in memory of Brody Lee, with his years listed out there. Yeah, man. The love was there, to say the least. And we'll get into more on that as it goes along. The crowd's chanting Brody Lee like they're just, paying their respects. And as we get introduced in by Jim Ross and everybody, CM Punk is introduced to be going to be on commentary all night long, which I was all about because CM Punk on commentary is just gold. He goes, CM Punk, comes out to his entrance, has the pop and everything, and he kind of makes the fake jump that he's gonna do a stage dive, as it were. He ends up not doing it. Goes for a round around the ringside area, getting high fives from everybody. Makes a lap. Then we get started. Well, before I say that, let me put it to you like this. AEW has a knack, I dare say a noticeable pattern, of putting on banger opener matches. And what do we get this week? Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, as JR likes to call him, against Adam Cole, baby! And while we were announced that match like last week, we're getting that to open the show. And holy shit, was this fun to watch. Talk about two guys that bring out the arguable best in each other. Fantastic match. The finish goes basically with a tie-up on the ropes after about, I want to say about 15 minutes with this match. Tie-up on the ropes. Ref Aubrey is the one who is refereeing the match. She's tied up in it. Fucking Adam Cole with the mule kick. Last shot, 1, 2, 3. But this match was excellent. Jungle Boy and Adam Cole have that chemistry that you want in a rivalry that is just unheard of. I predict, I'm saying it now on this show, right now, the day that Jungle Boy wins the AEW World Championship, and that day is coming one day. It absolutely is. It's more of a matter of when as opposed to if. And that all has to do with kind of how the next, I think personally, 2022 goes. Maybe into 2023. Because he does need a run, I think, with the TNT title at some point. Because should that dude be the face of the network? Abso-fucking-lutely. Regardless, Adam Cole, I think, is going to be world champion way sooner than Jungle Boy. And I think that feud is going to be something that can call back to this match when the time comes. And Adam Cole can pull the whole, like, you can't beat me, you couldn't beat me then, what makes you think you can beat me now bullshit. And Jungle Boy eventually gets the win. That's what I'm saying, at least. So, yeah, I am truly excited to see where this goes. Jungle Boy is the future face of the company. There is absolutely no doubt about that. That day is coming at some point. Again, a matter of when, not if. Adam Cole could be the face of the company tomorrow. Adam Cole could be AEW World Champion tomorrow. And that's kind of the level he has taken since his since his NXT run. And the reason I say that, and I was talking with somebody about this, Adam Cole had that rep in New Japan and on the indie scene, like with Ring of Honor and all, regarding how good he was in the ring. I think personally, if it was not for that NXT run that he had, he would not be getting the pops that he is now. Because those pops are huge, regardless of who he's going against, if he's booked as a face or a heel. Because my God, Adam Cole came out tonight to one hell of a pop. And that crowd was just eating it up. And I think they're just happy that, let's be real, they're just happy that Adam Cole made the right choice, because he did. In leaving NXT and WWE altogether for, where his best friends and his girlfriend are, in AEW. Hell, I would have 99% made the same call. Thing about it, I always heard about it or the argument against it was, like, based on the amount of money that was offered to Adam Cole, like, do you stay and collect this huge ass check, and then when you do, you move on to the other company that'll still welcome you in? It's an interesting question, but he followed his heart, and kudos to him on that one. So, Adam Cole and Jungle Boy, that's my match where I will tell you now, just find a way to watch it. You don't need me to give you all the details. I told you how it finishes. But my God, watch the match. These are two guys that are just made to wrestle each other. Stand by it. I give the match an A. After that, the Elite come out. Cuts to commercial. And we get a funny little promo, at least funny to me, promo with the Elite in the ring. Missing, though, was Don Callis. Do not know where he was, but he was not with the Elite tonight. But anyway, Carl Anderson introduced the group and explained, being Elite features a group like the group that is, in the ring. He talks about, being tag champs with Doc Gallows, how Kenny is the world champ, how Adam Cole is Elite. Couldn't fight that one. I tried. Anyhow, how Adam Cole is Elite, and of course, how the Young Bucks are Elite. He even put the Young Bucks over as the greatest tag team of all time. And then he said there's Cutler and Nakazawa, which I thought was funny. Cole snatches the microphone not snatches. He takes the microphone from Anderson. Talks about how he said he was going to do what he said he was going to do in beating Jungle Boy. He also said that he did it by himself. And that by doing it by himself and being undefeated, that's what makes him Elite. So then Brandon Cutler snatches it out of Cole's hand and tries to talk, and they all tell him to shut up, shut him down, or Brandon Cutler. Goon Cutler is my favorite Cutler for some reason. It just cracks me up every time. Nick Jackson takes the microphone. And is trying to hype up the crowd about asking for the best promo in the world, and the crowd starts chanting CM Punk. And he says Nakazawa and hands the microphone to Nakazawa. And he says something about not having anything to say, and that's when Kenny takes the microphone. And Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion, is just nailing it here. I love this run of Kenny. He's both the ultimate douche on top of being the best bout machine, because like I said last week, that match with him and Bryan Danielson is a match of the year contender. That was given away on free TV. I mean, cable TV, but it wasn't pay-per-view. He talks about how people are blowing up his social media, including MySpace, which I thought was funny. But he's talking about how people are saying it's the best match on Dynamite ever. It's the best match in AEW ever. That kind of thing. And he's like, whatever. So what? And Omega even says, Danielson pushed him to his limit. He admitted that. But he said it also at the same time that the problem is that when it mattered most, could not get the job done. Because a tie is not a win, right? Tie doesn't go to the runner in professional wrestling. Which is why, it's not like the title was on the line anyway. I say that's why Kenny won retained, but that's not the case here. Nonetheless, basically Kenny says that, Danielson is technically 0-0 and that he'll never see him in the ring again, and there'll never be a rematch. Danielson's music hits. And out comes the American Dragon just to another, stellar pop. And he asked the crowd, do you want to see a rematch? And of course the crowd's behind him. Of course, and of course the crowd will be behind him. Why wouldn't they be behind him, Bryan Danielson, he goes, the fans want it, he wants it, but Omega doesn't have the balls to give it to him. And so they start calling him Kenny No Balls. And that got a chant going, Kenny No Balls, which you put some respect on the AEW World Champion's name. But, Omega's doing the classic heel thing that he's been doing and just kind of kicking up dirt and, stomping his feet in the ring. And the crowd's chanting, Kenny No Balls. And then Danielson goes, I'll challenge anybody in the Elite to a match on Rampage. And then Omega's like, why wait? Let's do it now. Let's get this going. And then Danielson calls out Jurassic Express, including Jungle Boy, who just got hurt, and of course Christian Cage, and Frankie Kazarian, the Elite Hunter. So they all go after the Elite, and they make a bail for it. Fun little segment there. If I have to grade the segment, I would give it a B+. I wouldn't quite give it an A, but it flirts with it a couple times. And honestly, in my opinion, it's where Omega's talking the most. However, we go to the back. Tony Schiavone is back there. Silver Tongue Tony Schiavone, as the American Dream would say once upon a time. He's back there with the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Brothers. And then all of a sudden, Andrade El Idolo shows up. And he's wondering where Pac is. Because Pac is not around. It's just, the Luchas along with Alex Abrahantes. And the interesting thing here with the Luchas is they're not just flaunting the tag titles. They are flaunting the AAA tag titles. And basically, Andrade says it's been a long time since they've defended those tag titles. Well, he says that through his assistant. But apparently Andrade knows of some people who may want to come and challenge for them. And Phoenix, to sum it up super quick, just basically goes anywhere, anytime. So if we're putting some focus on the AAA tag titles, first, I'm all here for it. I do want to state that. Because God knows I think AAA could use a little bit of acknowledgement on the American side of things when it comes to professional wrestling. Since everything is being affected by all this. I mean, God, Kenny Omega is still the AAA World Champion. But anyhow, so I have a feeling it's going to be a couple people coming up from AAA to challenge for those tag titles. Can't think of who right now, but I mean, that's the beauty of this, right? The answer is not necessarily right in front of you. You don't know who you're going to see, when you're going to see them, or any of that, which is what makes AEW so much fucking fun these days, because you have that element without the predictability, and it's nice. To me, at least, it's nice. Hold on, I gotta take a drink of water. But still, though, it was a good little backstage segment. I would give that a solid A-. So, here's where things get interesting. We go back to the ring. And we have Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson tagging up to go against Matt Sydal and Dante Martin. So, Cody has his own entrance. Lee Johnson comes out to Cody's entrance. Cody is not dressed as Homelander this time, thank God. Which, by the way, he said that his costume last week was not inspired by Homelander. And it's like, bro, inspired or not, that's what it looked like. And the thing is, too, is like, I think they have to turn him heel. Because this crowd was mixed at best for parts of this with Cody involved. But really, overall, they were not in his corner. They just weren't. So anyway, Cody ends up not listening to Arn. He goes in there right against Dante Martin instead of Lee Johnson. After a clean break, after they tie up, Cody Rhodes tags in Lee Johnson. Matt Sydal also comes in. There's a lot of back and forth here. Dante Martin just looks like a fucking badass this entire match. So good. Again, this is one of those matches I say go see. Because Dante Martin at like 20 or 21 years old, man, he is going to be something, somebody, someday. I cannot wait to hear him on the stick one day and see how he does in that regard. But right now, with this aerial stuff, man, the guy is special. He is so damn special. This is a lot like a typical Cody Rhodes match. lot. I mean, outside of the flips and flying that Dante Martin brings to the table. But, Cody sticks to his normal stuff here. But Cody does not get the victory this time. Lee Johnson actually gets the pin on Dante Martin, which, I'll be real, with the crowd as hot as they were for Dante Martin, I think I would have gone. I think he should have gotten the pin, or Seidel should have taken the fall. But anyway, after the match, Tony Schiavone gets in the ring and Arn's in the ring. Oh, Brandy is there, but I don't think she got in the ring at the end, but she was there earlier. And basically, Arn Anderson cuts this promo. So basically, Cody Rhodes kind of acknowledges the boos of the crowd, calls out Malachi Black, and then Double A gets on the mic and goes, "Look, dude." Basically calls him a fucking wuss and calls him weak. Tells a story about the difference between the two of them if they got carjacked, which Cody would give away the car and Arn would take out his Glock and spill somebody's brains out, because that's what Arn said. Arn will bust a cap if you try to steal his fucking car. I mean, what else do you expect from the Enforcer? We also have to ask ourselves that question. I mean, he is the Enforcer. Nonetheless. Basically, though, Double A basically says he doesn't coach weak men. And he thinks basically that Cody Rhodes is weak. And walks away, tells Lee Johnson to follow him, and he does. So, is this the end of that alliance between a Rhodes and a Horseman? Or is there more to this? Is that the inspiration that Cody needs to kick it up a level? I think it's a little bit of both. I think Arn is going to leave being the chief of the Nightmare family. Because, I'm going to be the one to say it now, I think Arn wants to get back with Tully and basically dual manage FTR. That's what I think. I'd be willing to bet dimes to donuts on that one. But we'll see how it plays out. Yeah, Brandy's out on the floor during this whole bit. But anyway, after that, we get this very fun little trios match of Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, Darby Allin, Sting's with him as always, against Bear Country and Anthony Green, who I've never really heard of. This is Cody's match, Cody's tag match. So I'm going to give this a little bit of a different grade. I'm going to grade the Arn promos separate. So the tag match, I'm going to give it a B-. No, I'm going to give it a B. I would give it a B- if Lee Johnson did not make the pin. Because he did. And that is part of how you make stars. So, anyway, 6-man tag. Right. Sorry. I'm all over the place tonight. Don't mind me. I'm going to grade the Arn promo separately. I am going to give that an A-. Reason I give it an A-, while I overall dug it, I question if being so graphic about brains spilling out on the floor and shooting someone was the right way to go in a promo, but I don't know. I'm a little sketch on that. That's just me and my take, though. Remember that. This is all just my take. Anyhow, trios match. Moxley, Kingston, Darby Allin with Sting in their corner against Bear Country and Anthony Green. This is not a great match. It's not a bad match. It's definitely not a bad match. But it's not anything to write home about. If anything, it's more about the crowd popping for Moxley and Kingston and Darby just because they're there. The faces win. I'll just leave it at that. Darby, Kingston, and Moxley, they definitely win. Which, Kingston, he has that special connection with the crowd. He went out, grabbed one of these Brody Lee signs that people had brought. There was a bunch of people there, of course, wanting to pay tribute to Brody Lee, and they had these printed out signs, for Brody. And so he's, flashing it up, and, the crowd's loving it. And then Darby gets back in the ring, kind of feeds Green over to Sting, who hits him with a Scorpion Death Drop. And yeah, crowd's just loving it. We cut to the back, and Ruby Soho says that she never felt like she had so many people in her corner than when she was going up against Britt Baker last week. Baker proves why she's the most dominant. She tells Soho to get to the back of the line, and Ruby's like, I'll work my way back up and go for that title. Nice way to establish how that rivalry could pick up down the road. We'll see how it goes. After that, Hardy Family Office is in the ring. And Matt Hardy says, he's got a microphone, and he says that year and a half ago, he was supposed to debut in Rochester, and he goes, thankfully, that was deleted because Rochester does not deserve a legend like Matt Hardy. I got a good little laugh out of that. Calls it an awful town. And that's when we get Orange Cassidy's music. And out comes Freshly Squeezed. And then as soon as he comes out, the Dark Order music kind of kicks on. They all come out. -1 is there. Brody Lee Jr. Brody chants are firing up. This is an interesting little match because for it to be, gosh, how many people? What was it? I think an 8-on-8. That sounds right. So basically, everybody in the Dark Order was there, and they were still having problems as this match was going on, and things don't quite really resolve themselves. The long story short is, Silver ends up getting like the hot tag towards the very end. Help sets up the finish, which was this kind of like combo of moves between himself, Reynolds, and 10, if memory serves. But Silver gets the cover. 1, 2, 3. I love me some Johnny Hungy. I'm so glad he got the cover. What was really fun about this, though, as I say, it's just kind of like not boring. It's a standard match. During the match, as the Dark Order is having an issue, Evil Uno goes to leave. Colt Cabana is trying not to let him leave. But Brody Lee Jr., -1, and his mom, Amanda Huber, along with Ty Conti and Anna Jay, they all come out, and they're basically like, this is for Brody. And Evil Uno throws the papers at Evil Uno, like how his dad used to do in the Being the Elite bits. Such good stuff. So they go back out there. They get the pinfall. Dark Order and Orange Cassidy win. They all hug it out. In terms of the Dark Order, -1 goes up on 10's shoulders like he loves to do. Crowd is just popping hard. Great moment. It was nice to see Amanda Huber out there embracing what wrestling meant to Brody and how the people still loved him, whether it was the people in the audience, the people at home, or even the people who he called friends and coworkers. Speculation's been like really going that Bray Wyatt, or the former Bray Wyatt, was going to debut tonight. His non-compete, as far as I know, expires on October 29th. Regardless of that, I don't know if I would have booked it this way, but it was a damn good feel-good moment. The Brody Lee tribute show they did was like one of the most emotional things I've ever seen. So many people heartbroken, grieving, but not alone together. It's where we got that first look at Tony Khan as not just the money man behind the scenes while the Bucks and Rhodes and Omega play wrestling promoters. But we saw the heart of the man, Tony Khan, who clearly gave a damn about Brody Lee, and his heart breaks for his family. And of course, on top of that, today we got the word that the, pardon me if I get this wrong here, the Brody Lee, basically the Brody Lee Foundation. I know I'm not getting that 100% correct. My apologies on that. Brody Lee Legacy Foundation is what I think it is. Basically, it's for people who kind of chose family over opportunity a lot of the time. But helping provide opportunity for those who want to balance that out. Because of Brody Lee, John Huber, whatever you want to call him, he's remembered by many for what he did in the ring. But of all the stuff that I've seen on him since his really sad passing, he was a family man more. And I've lost family at an early age. I've lost friends, close friends, my best friend, as the years have gone on. And you don't choose who you love in life in that regard as family. And a lot of the people that Brody Lee worked with clearly did. Big E, the current WWE champion, is one of those people. And a hell of a feel-good moment in Rochester, New York, when I'm sure we could all say we all needed one. We get a backstage segment with Lio Rush, and he's coming back to AEW. Nice little promo talking about big business, that kind of thing. So what happened was he showed up at Double or Nothing. He was the Joker card in that Battle Royale, and from what I understood, he really fucked up his shoulder, had to have surgery, said that he was going to retire from wrestling but finish contractual obligations, which to the majority of us, we were under the impression that we're looking like independent shows and New Japan bookings. I knew he had come back for some of the New Japan stuff. Seeing it on his social media, it sounds like he was really enjoying himself. But one of the reasons why he retired was he said he wanted to be able to hold his kids based on the surgery he was having. So I was perplexed that he was coming back to AEW. And sure as shit, on the AEW's Twitter page, they had the graphic up. Lio Rush is all elite. They're all welcome to the team, which is basically what they do for everybody. So maybe he's back. Maybe he's back. Maybe he found that spark to keep wrestling again. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. My biggest issue with Lio Rush was always that I felt he was really immature. That's just it. Just based on how he's held himself in interviews like that. I hope overall that he has matured, and I hope he makes the most of this opportunity, because it is just that, an opportunity. We go to another backstage segment. FTR basically cuts a quick little promo saying they are revitalized, and that's bad news for everybody. Go back to the ring. Dan Lambert, that son of a bitch, is out there with the Men of the Year. So Lambert rips on Chris Jericho for taking the running knee from Jorge Masvidal last week. Lambert talks about Jericho being knocked out. Crowd starts chanting, "Shut the fuck up." But here's where it gets interesting. The moment Dan Lambert stops talking, it goes to somebody else who has a more compelling personality. Scorpio Sky. and basically talks about how he's been overlooked his entire time. And Ethan Page ends up saying the same thing but a different way that ends up really working out. But they say that it's this oversight that leads them to go to American Top Team, primarily because Dan Lambert didn't overlook them. Sometimes that's all the explanation you fucking need for an angle. Makes sense to me. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how that goes. Interesting. Do I think that they're going to be tag team champions in the next 12 months? Hard to say. Do I think it happens at all? Absolutely. I would not hate it if Men of the Year were the ones to defeat the Luchas. Because I think a lot of people would write that match off, and like we end up seeing tonight, that always could possibly lead to a great surprise. Regardless. We get another little backstage thing. Hikaru Shida, former AEW Women's Champion that we have not seen really that prominently in a little bit, talks about how a lot has happened in her career, how she moved to America and became the longest reigning champion in AEW history. I think Omega's beating that here shortly. But the one thing that she's looking for is her 50th win. And next week on Dynamite, her and Serena Deeb, former NWA Women's World Champion, they're going to have a match. And Serena Deeb cut a promo basically saying that, yeah, Shida, you're going to get your 50th win, but it's not going to be against me. So, of course, Serena Deeb, the woman of 1,000 holds, she is just excellent in the ring. Always has been. I do wonder if CM Punk has given her a formal apology. Because I'd also like to point out, Punk has been on commentary this entire night. Not only does something with Serena Deeb get mentioned, but he had to call a match with Colt Cabana in it. I did not give this a proper, I guess, call out. Oh, right. I totally forgot. Gosh, man. I forgot to give a letter grade for the big 16-man tag. Gets an A, because, Brody Lee, happy moments, the whole bit. The tape segments I'm not going to grade, but the in-ring stuff I will. Dan Lambert gets a B. Sky and Paige get A's. They just nail this shit. But, yeah, so we're going to get, next week in Philadelphia, we're going to get Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida. And like I mentioned, Punk owes her an apology. Punk didn't really call any of Colt Cabana's moves, didn't even mention his name. So knowing that he's there on the monitor and knowing that basically Cabana had to walk right by him in the entrance because Punk is doing commentary, I think it's safe to say, just stay out of my orbit, I'll stay out of yours, and long as there's no problems, there's no problems. At least that's the way I'm viewing it. We'll see. So, we get a tag team match, playa, after this. And it is a women's tag match between the Bunny and Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay and Ty Conti. I like to point out, okay, I'm gonna be a little stiff on this review. This match isn't that great. It's fine, but it's not something to write home about, as I like to say. But here's what's important about it, because this is an important match. Anna Jay, or the Bunny and Penelope Ford, are out in almost matching attire. The color matches, the scheme matches, cuts are a little bit different. The same with Anna Jay and Ty Conti. Anna Jay has dropped the purple of the Dark Order, and her and Ty Conti were in this pinkish red, outfit. But still matching. But cut different. I think those women tag titles are coming. I think they're coming soon. I think we could see a Dynamite where that ends up being the main event to determine the new first women's tag titles. Personally, I think you should do that for the trios and give the tag titles, the women's tag title match, a pay-per-view. But that's just me. Or I should say, that's just my take. But this match is fine. Anna Jay and Ty Conti win. It's a B- for me. Like, it's not, again, great, but again, it is better than 95% of the shit you see on Raw and or SmackDown or both. Especially when it comes to the women. -1 runs out after the match. Conte gives him a big hug, and they celebrate like as three in the ring. We get a promo for a match coming up on Rampage. That's going to be no rules. Jade Cargill, Thunder Rosa, and Nyla Rose. Oh boy. I hope Thunder Rosa wins. I see a world where Jade wins, but I really want Thunder Rosa to win. I want her to be the one to challenge Britt next. Like, I'm ready for that feud to start over again. And then after that, MJF comes out. And this is, in my opinion, the best promo of the night. And he talks about, he actually gives like some other wrestlers a little bit of credit about this young 4 pillars that are the basis of how this company is going to go. He talks about Jungle Boy is one of them. Beat him. Sammy Guevara with the TNT title match that night. Beat him. Darby Allin, whatever, doesn't really, go by that. And then, of course, himself. And, of course, he says, without him, this company ain't shit. And he tells Tony Khan that he deserves to be world champion, and you better give me what I want, or I have Bruce Pritchard on speed dial. Oh, that was hilarious. And CM Punk, I think, gives the best line, like, goes, everybody's got Bruce Pritchard's number on speed dial, which I got a good laugh out of. At least that Punk could actually joke about that. But out comes Darby Allin. And all I'm going to say is, because MJF, he loves to get that nuclear heat. He does so in this way that I don't want to spoil it in that sense. Check out the promo for yourself. It's great stuff. MJF is probably the best on the stick in the business today, and it shows more right here. But we're going to have a program between Darby Allin and MJF, and I'm fucking excited for that. That in-ring work gets an A. That gets a solid A. Friday's Rampage been announced. Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks will go up against Bryan Danielson. And, of course, we get Jack Evans against Orange Cassidy, hair versus hair, in that women's triple threat, again, between Cargill, Rosa, and Rose. Next week on Dynamite, we get announced The Elite, Kenny Omega, the real world's champion, Adam Cole, baby, and the Young Bucks will go up against Bryan Danielson, Jurassic Express of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and then Christian Cage. That should be fun. Of course, we have Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb, and a casino ladder match where the winner receives a future AEW World Championship match. I am going to call it now. Miro just lost the TNT title. I see a world where if he's in this match next week, he wins the ladder match and challenges Kenny Omega. I think the crowd wants to kind of cheer Miro. They're appreciating how ballsy he is on some of the things that he says, especially talking about his wife, CJ Perry. But it's going to be really interesting what next week looks like. Because now we get to the main event of the evening. Sammy Guevara challenging Miro for the TNT Championship. And this is a lot of fun. This match, I am not going to go over it move for move and everything like that. Again, I encourage you to watch this match. This is a lot of fun to watch. But I'll say it now, man. This is the right time to make Sammy the TNT champion. And I think it brings up something interesting moving forward, too, because he's going to be the only one right now with gold in the inner circle. Does Jericho kind of lose it out of jealousy, spite, considering Sammy is the face of a network, despite Jericho being the demo god? I don't know. It's fun to speculate, but I genuinely don't know. Regardless of that, I think it does put a nice couple bits of question marks in there that I'm excited to see how it plays out. But the thing is, Guevara basically beat him clean. And man, it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend finding this match and watching it. Because Miro looks scary as hell, as always. So, new TNT champion, Sammy Guevara. Well done, kid. Well done indeed. The match itself is a legit A-. There's a couple spots that I'm not like overly wild about, but overall it's an excellent match. It is definitely A-worthy. I want to give it an A for the title change, and I'm tempted to, but the honest truth is, like, overall it'd be an A- in terms of match quality, at least in my opinion. Or I should say, just my take. But yeah, another solid show. This match, this episode is like flirting with a B+ A- overall. I'm actually going to say A- for the show overall because of the title change. Great to see the TNT title change on TNT for a change. And yeah, it's been a hell of a ride for Miro as the Redeemer. I am so excited to see where it goes. I think CJ Perry is on her way in. I think she's going to be the one to kind of make the beast focus, as it were. It'll be real interesting to see who wins that ladder match. I can't think of many right now unless they pull something crazy and have Paige come back and win it. But I think they're going to give us... I personally think they're going to give us a full list before the weekend is out. If there is a mystery person, I think it's Hangman, and Hangman wins. If it's not, I can see it being Miro. I would be... I mean, shit. Fuck. If they decide to pull the trigger there because MJF said he deserves to be AEW World Champion, do we get that as he's starting to tangle with Darby Allin? Maybe he's distracted, can't focus and win the world title. Who knows? Not that I would think Darby Allin would come out to help Kenny Omega, but I think just it would be in MJF's head, or at least that's possibly the only way you could really spin it. I don't know. Nonetheless, leaves a lot of questions I cannot wait to answer. But yeah, it's going to be a fun time. As I mentioned, I'm giving the show an A-. Since chat was pretty quiet tonight, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Just want to say to everybody, thank you out there so very much for tuning in, even when I am offline with this. It means a lot to me. As always, you can like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at the02TheJ. That's a number 2 in there. And yeah, feel free to pass it along. Episode has been recorded for a podcast at a later date, meaning when I do get to this, I'm going to upload a lot at once. But nonetheless, I thank you all so very much for tuning in. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. It's not much, but it's something. Until next time, O to the J here with another episode ending of Just My